Hey guys, welcome back to another Battlefront 2 guide. Today we're going to be covering the DC-15LE Heavy Blaster for the Heavy class. I'll be going over its different weapon attachments and how they affect the blaster, all the statistics we know about it, and tactics and tips to help you become the best with this blaster. In the description, I'll have timestamps so you can easily find your way through this video. But I'd suggest staying for the whole video because you might learn something new. But remember, anything I say in this video can be changed at any time. The DC-15LE is the second blaster you can play with in Battlefront 2 if you are using the Heavy class. In order to unlock it, you need to defeat 50 enemies with the Heavy class. The DC-15LE was mainly used by clones back in the Clone Wars, but now it returns in Battlefront 2 for all eras to enjoy. This blaster has a high fire rate and a heavy amount of recoil that can be modified. And really, it's an all-around good heavy blaster. This is one of the most underrated blasters in the game in my opinion. This blaster reminds me of the Blurg, not in its firing pattern, but just how good it is. The Blurg is a good blaster by itself, but the mods that the devs decided to give it made it even better. And I believe that's the same circumstances this blaster is under. Now let's move on to the different blaster modifications you can add onto the DC-15LE. The DC-15LE, like all other blasters in Battlefront 2, have the ability to have two modifications active at once. The first mod that you can unlock for the DC-15LE is the reduced recoil modification. To unlock it, you need to defeat 50 enemies with the DC-15LE. Once equipped, your blaster will have little to almost no recoil at all. The original blaster itself without this mod is absolutely horrible when pertaining to the recoil. It is extremely hard to keep your blaster straight and in line. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The reduced recoil modification is a mod that you're never going to want to take off. It's that good. Most of the time when a blaster has a reduced recoil modification available for it, you're just going to want to use it off the bat. Just do it. I'll have some tests running in the background to show you the difference between the recoil mod on and off. And you'll be able to see how big that difference is. It might be able to be the easiest modification to get, but that doesn't mean it's the worst. The second modification you can unlock for the DC-15LE is the improved zoom mod. To unlock this mod, you have to defeat 150 enemies with the DC-15LE. The improved zoom mod gives you improved zoom, so you can see your enemies a lot larger. Since this blaster has quite good accuracy, this attachment makes sense and works well. It also interchanges the reticle that you get. Instead of it looking like a circle, it has a dot in the middle with 4 points coming out of the sides. What this does is it makes it way easier to hit accurately at close quarters and distances. This blaster is one of the few blasters in the game that actually have the improved zoom mod available for use. The sniper variants don't count, those are dual zoom. This is just a consistent amount of magnification, and I actually think it suits this blaster very well. I honestly mostly use it because of the improved reticle that allows me to actually hit the enemies. The final modification that you can unlock for the DC-15LE is the explosive shot mod. To unlock the explosive shot modification, you have to defeat 250 enemies with the DC-15LE. The explosive shot modification interchanges your regular blaster bolts to explosive charged blaster bolts, so that every time you fire a shot of an exploding round that is able to deal splash damage like the explosive sentry, in the first Battlefront it also added damage to the shots fired. I don't know if it's the same case in this game though. Now this was a controversial add from the first game, and surprisingly it's not one in this game. The devs over at EA and DICE have really balanced this well, and I'm glad that you can actually use the explosive shot mod without it being absolutely horrible. One thing that I'm not sure if it's just me, but when you fire the explosive shot mod on, the fire rate seems to be slower. I'm not sure though, maybe it's just an illusion, I don't know. We'll have to get official info from EA before we can confirm it. This mod is very good and very balanced all at the same time. I definitely suggest you try it sometime or when you unlock it. With the explosive shot mod on, you have to be very aware of your surroundings, because if you aren't paying attention and you are shooting, and you accidentally shoot a wall right in front of you, you'll take damage from your own explosive shots, so be aware of that. Also, with the explosive shot mod active, your blaster overheats a little bit faster. You're always going to have one eye on the overheat meter, so that whenever you're done firing, whether it be after you defeated all the enemies, or maybe just one, you can remember to instantly cool down your blaster. You can jumpstart the cooldown of any blaster as long as it's not overheated by pressing X on Xbox. Let's head over to the strategies, tips, and tricks for this blaster. The DC-15LE, with modifications added, is absolutely amazing. Now, unlike the other blasters, the DC-15LE actually has 3 good mods. When I say good modifications, I mean mods that aren't somewhat useless like the Ion Shot mod. 3 good mods gives it great potential. The thing is, you can only equip 2 mods at a time. And at this point in the video, I'd normally say what mods I have on my blaster. But here's the thing, I'm always interchanging between the improved zoom mod and the explosive shot mod. And as I've said before, once you activate the reduced recoil mod, you'll never want to take it off. So that's what I do. I keep the reduced recoil mod on, always activated, and I switch between the other 2. This blaster uses what most people call the spray and pray tactic. How the spray and pray tactic works is all you have to do is keep shooting until you defeat the enemy. It's that simple, and it works quite well with this blaster considering it has such a high fire rate and a lot of time before you overheat. If you use the spray and pray, you'll eventually hit and defeat your enemy. One thing that I like doing on purpose is overheating my blaster, then cooling it down when the golden bar is there, so that I have a lot of extra time without having to worry about overheating. At first, the DC-15LE won't seem that good, but the more you play with it and the more modifications, the better it comes. If you have any tips for the DC-15LE, feel free to drop them in the comments section to help each other out. Also in the comments, tell me what your favorite blaster modifications are for your favorite heavy blaster. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed or learned something new, feel free to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more Battlefront 2 guides such as this one. I'm Infinite Potatoes, and I'll see you on the Battlefront.